Hey guys, we got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about how Japan is mulling over, considering fourth shots. So what do you call a booster on top of a booster?
A depth charge.
A depth charge.
Depth charge.
A depth charge, like a submarine.
Yeah, submarine.
Booster on top of a booster. North Korea, talking about depth charges. North Korea fires a new type of ICBM over Japan.
Nice.
And Japan marks the 27th anniversary of the sarin gas attacks in the Tokyo subways.
So jolly news today then.
Always positive, always positive.
So I've got Japan ends COVID-19 quasi-emergency in all 18 prefectures that were covered by it. I've also got some Russian bans on luxury car exports.
More Russia-Japan stuff.
Hooray. Japanese companies offering a service that converts your child's school bag into useful accessories. I don't want that, but we'll go over it anyway. Japan's new ramen vending machine cooks noodles in just 90 seconds and serves 4 different types. And then we've also got Japan court removes people from the Japan, diet for heckling Abe as well. And
then lastly, we got a little game we're going to play. It's called Guess That Really Super Abused Pokemon Plushie Toy. Roll that intro. So now, like, that we talk over the intro, I never know what to say.
What's this about a Pokemon plushie?
So it's on Twitter. We'll talk about it at the end of the show. But it's like there's these plushie toys that were loved to death, basically, and so there's photos of them on Twitter.
My dog had a toy that he loved to death.
Really?
Like physically loved to death. It was like a monkey, and he used to go home and hump it like crazy.
I was in a bar the other day, okay, and this older gentleman like just came up to me. No, just like older gentleman just came up to me and just like removed a stuffed monkey from his bag.
Really?
And just like showed it to me and just started talking about it.
There is a conversation starter in a textbook.
Okay.
There's a game called I Have a Monkey in My Bag, like an English textbook.
Okay.
I've seen somewhere. I can't remember, this just came to me now. So you might have been doing that.
No, he's like, my wife made this. I'll send it to Josh so he can put it in the show if he remembers. But
he's not married.
He's like, oh no, it's not his wife. It's like, my girlfriend made this. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do because we were like, I'm kind of drunk.
I'd be like, just leave that woman now.
And he's like literally, I'll show you the picture. He's like literally talking like the voice of the monkey. He's like, hello. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening right now.
How old was this guy?
He's in his 60s.
Oh my God.
So I'm not joking. Like,
I've seen him before.
Yeah, and he's kind of a popular guy here in Temukan, and like he's just like, hello, I'm the monkey, and I'm just like, am I having a seizure right now?
He's probably got COVID and lost his mind. That's the new variant. Do you know what I mean?
Like, you get COVID, you have to start making monkeys.
Yeah, there you go. It's gone back to the monkeys.
All right, speaking of COVID, let's get started. So COVID, so Japan, the administration, the government here, they agreed to start preparations for the fourth shot if need be. So they haven't decided to do it or not yet. They decided just to prepare for it because basically for the first 2 shots and the third shot, Japan kind of got caught with his pants down. They're like, we need to roll out something. We don't know how to do anything quickly. What do we do?
Yeah. It's funny because I had 4 shots last night and I was caught with my pants down as well, but it was a different situation altogether. So
now you got really fucked up after the second dose, right? You got Moderna.
Yeah. And it wasn't good. It didn't go very well. So
it wasn't good.
I don't want to have a 4th one. And I'm thinking about whether to have a 3rd one or not.
Yeah, with the timing of your first 2, you still have a little bit of time to consider the 3rd one. But I got my 3rd one. I got Pfizer, Moderna. And I got to tell you, the 2 Pfizer ones compared to the Moderna ones, like night and day different.
Yeah.
Moderna fucks you up, man. But then I was thinking, like, while I was like having a high fever and like hating life, I was like, I hope I'm making lots of antibodies to fight this bitch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, one of my friends, I'm not going to mention his name, was involved in like a 50-person live show cluster.
Right.
And like no one has symptoms. They're all totally fine. Because they're all vaxxed. So they're just like, whatever.
Just getting Omicron's the best thing to do now.
Don't recommend that. Like, YouTube would pull up our thing. But yeah, Bill Gates was on a talk panel saying how, you know, if people don't get vaccinated, Omicron might work as like a vaccination because you get like a light version of the virus, then you build antibodies for it. It's like a natural resistance.
Makes sense. So Japan's just ended its COVID-19 quasi-emergency in all of the 18 prefectures that were under it. So it's back to business as normal.
Isn't it weird that now that it's like over, everybody's just like, well, let's just live our lives normal. It's like everything's fine now.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we're still getting like we were getting hundreds of cases here a day.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. It's just like, oh, we're done with this.
Yeah, I'm just bored of it as well. So let's just go back to life as normal.
Let's just get bored of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But that's scientifically speaking. Like I've talked about this many times. There's two endings to a pandemic. There's a scientific ending where the virus is no longer a threat to the population, and then there's like the human ending where everybody says fuck it.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with the Spanish flu. Like months before it actually officially ended, they were just like, fuck it, we don't want to do it anymore.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, I don't see what the problem is now.
Did now that we're kind of coming out of the pandemic, did your life change? Like, what was different?
Yeah, I had like horrible heart palpitations from taking Moderna vaccine. That happened to me. No, not really, no. So
because you just haven't traveled. That's the only difference.
Yeah,
right?
I've not been to the UK, and I've not traveled around as much. I've traveled quite a lot domestically.
Domestically,
actually.
right? Yeah.
So it's not really changed that much. Maybe remote work, wearing suits less.
Oh yeah, I just gave up on dressing up. I was just like, fuck it.
But even now, though, I don't want to go back to wearing a suit. I'll wear smart casual, but not suits.
So like I spent my first 10 or 12 years in Japan wearing a suit.
Yeah.
And then one day I just like, no, not that long, maybe 8 years. And then I was on TV and you don't wear a suit on TV. You wear like, casual clothes, whatever. So I was always having to change. And then one day I was just like, fuck my suit and just like went casual and just haven't gone back.
So I might go back to a suit. I've got to wear one in London when I go back to London.
What are you doing in London?
Going to a place that I can't mention on here.
You're going to a place for a thing that you can't talk about.
Yeah.
You sound like a spy.
No, not really.
Is this some MI6 work you want to talk about?
It's basically, let's just call it that. So I've just got to wear a fancy, nice looking suit.
Well, James Bond did retire. The actor did retire, so the position is available.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've got to get rid of this beer gut first, but, I've got the looks. I'm British.
Oh my God, I've got the looks. I'm British.
I drink like a fish.
I do too. Do you drink martinis?
I can do.
I hate martinis. Gin is awful. Who drinks gin?
I like gin. Ugh. Nothing wrong with gin.
Do you like gin?
Josh likes gin.
Are you serious? Why? It tastes like Christmas. It tastes like Christmas. There's no other way to say it.
Tastes like Christmas.
Next time you drink gin, you'll be like, oh, this tastes like Christmas.
What you drink tastes like a hangover, I'll tell you that.
Well, it gives you hangovers.
Yeah, I know.
Well, no, it doesn't give you a hangover. It just keeps you drunk.
Yeah.
Like the next day you wake up, you're like, still drunk.
Yeah.
Sleeping did nothing.
Thanks, liver.
Thanks, liver.
Pull your weight.
Do you ever get like an echo on your liver and see if it's like, because when you get older, they echo your liver to see if it's like popcorn liver or whatever.
Yeah.
What do they say? Like,
I said mine was fine.
Really?
And I was like, I'm sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it isn't.
I don't know what mine's like, but even like even today, I'm a little hungover. I'm like feeling like, which side is your liver on?
This one.
Is it this side?
Yeah.
What's on this side?
I don't fucking know.
Liver's on the right side.
It's your right hand side, I swear to God. Left hand side is what?
Stomach?
Just like your lungs and shit, right?
I don't know. Every time I get an x-ray, like I got a chest x-ray.
Yeah, hurrah. Liver's on the right.
Oh, it's way down. I thought it was way higher.
No, it's under your rib cage.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever is here, like right here.
So that'd be what?
That's your spleen or one of your kidneys.
What's a spleen do?
It's like gets rid of stuff.
You know how we learned all this stuff in school and we just like, no, I'm serious. It's just like gets deleted.
The spleen does stuff with
invading germs in the blood. Oh, okay. Okay,
blood
cool.
cell control.
Good job, spleen.
We don't know what's going on, do we? Look how uneducated we are. Fucking idiots.
No, what it is like you get...
read the news out. Oh, God, we don't even know what spleen is.
You learn all these things, and then you forget it, because you have a capacity, okay? Even though like science says that we don't have a capacity, or we don't know what the capacity is, we have a capacity, right?
What's the pancreas do then?
Oh, the pancreas is the thing that we think it was meant for when we used to eat like dirt and stuff. And break that down. That's why we do. Is that the pancreas? Yeah, that's the pancreas. That's why we can remove it. It's okay, I think.
No, you can remove your spleen, can't you?
No, maybe you can, but then you have to do like...
You can't remove your pancreas.
Then which one? Pancreas is the thing that regulates what is it called? Your metabolism.
Estrogen.
The pancreas is important for digesting food and managing your use of sugar for energy after digestion.
So metabolism. What's the little thing that gets removed by everybody?
I don't know.
What, your tonsils?
No, I had those removed, but
testicles.
No, those are still there. Shit, what's it called? Appendicitis. Appendix.
Appendix.
Appendix. There you go.
Yeah.
Appendix is the thing that's what I was talking about. That like breaks down. They think it's to break down like little bits of stuff that we used to eat in our food, and now it's not important or whatever.
It's also the end of a book, isn't it?
It is. I guess it is. Yeah. Okay. Good job.
Okay, I'm glad that's because we look like total fucking idiots.
What
now.
are we talking about? No, I don't. I'm not great on biology because like okay, so this is why I'm not great at anatomy. Here we go. When I was in high school, I got the second highest grade in my anatomy class.
Okay,
and that's because the person that got the highest grade sat next to me.
Right. Okay,
and she happened to be my girlfriend at the time.
Right. Okay,
and so I didn't study shit. I was just like whatever she's writing plus a couple like errors just to like make it not so. Obvious.
You were studying her anatomy, I think.
Oh, my God.
Hello.
There was one day where I showed up to, there's a test, right, in anatomy, and I show up a little late, and one of my friends is sitting next to her.
Yeah.
But that was my seat, right? So I'm like, Chris Lackey. I'm like, get out of my seat. He's like, why do you get to sit next to her? She's the smart one. I want to sit next to her. Anyway, I did learn shit in that class. Sorry, continue. What are we talking about?
I'm going to talk about... Go on, you do one.
No, because this is really important. So fucking North Korea. Two things we got to talk about with North Korea today. Mm-hmm. One is that, okay, so you know this whole thing that's happening in Ukraine?
No, I've not heard about it.
Okay, so Ukraine, right? They were like, we're voluntarily giving up our nuclear weapons, right? And then like Russia's like, okay, forever peace, friend. We'll never invade you.
Yeah.
Which is totally true. Never, ever, ever do people go back on their promises.
No.
And so... North Korea looked at, Iraq and places like that and saw like, okay, well, if we don't have nukes, then there's a threat that someday a force is going to walk in and replace the administration.
Yeah.
So North Korea and other, actors out there, they're like, we all need nukes to stay in power. And so there's a skit by an Asian comedian about this, which is really funny. I forgot his name, but if you guys like Google it, it's really, really funny. While like the West was all concerned with, the Middle East and the people over there getting nukes, North Korea is like, we're going to make nukes. And America's like, yeah, sure you are.
Right. Go for it. Yeah.
And then one day they tested their nuke underground, right? And then like everybody's like, oh my God, North Korea has nukes. And even then America's like, do they really? We need to confirm this.
Yeah, let's look at some satellite images.
And it's like, dude, there was like a huge earthquake that's like, we know it's a nuke. Anyway, so now what they need ICBMs to deliver those nukes to America. So then now once they have the mutually assured destruction mad threat, then they will never be invaded.
Right.
Is the idea here. I mean, like, if you look at Ukraine, you see all these world nations pumping weapons. Your country and my country are pumping weapons like crazy into Ukraine. Mm-hmm. But if any of our countries fires a weapon at Russia, it's World War III with nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, so North Korea's leader isn't stupid, and so he wants kind of stupid because we'll get into that. He wants the capability to reach the United States, and so they tested one of their largest ICBMs to date, and it went up into miles into space and then fell down next to Japan.
Yeah.
So they're saying that it has the capability to probably hit continental United States, but they didn't obviously take it that far.
Right.
Is the whole thing here. Now, the more interesting thing about this is this video that might get taken down. Last time we posted a video in one of our videos and like YouTube got angry at us and they cut it out. But anyway, if you guys watch this on YouTube, if not, if you're doing the podcast on the audio version, just check the description. There's this amazing video. Wait for it. There's an amazing video that I want Alex to watch.
Okay.
This was officially produced, from what I can understand, what I know, by the North Korean government.
Wow.
Go for it.
Oh, I like the camera tone and that. It's nice. Here he comes.
Like, we'll obviously have to we can't play the music in the video, but so for you guys that are the audio version of this, you got Kim Jong-un with two similarly heighted soldiers walking out of a hangar, and there's a Scud missile looking thing behind him.
Checking the time now.
And then they go outside, and this is all incredibly Chef's Kitchen or what is it, Hell's Kitchen style edited, and they're all looking at their watches and they're these zoom ups on them and it's just crazy editing, and then suddenly Kim Jong-un takes off his glasses and then nods yes, and then it fades to the missile and they're like,
wait
missile.
A minute. Why do they have to time it so much for the fucking thing to come out of the garage? Do you know what I mean? Why is there a countdown on that? Just get it out the garage, man.
There's so many things that we need to ask about that video. It's the most random. First of all, why did they make that video?
Just to show he's the Don.
He's the Don.
He's in control.
Secondly, they can't even play that video on state-run TV in North Korea because it's not even HD. It's like standard definition.
Right.
So that's an HD, probably 1080p video. So what are they doing?
Well, it's probably thinking we're all going to look at it and go, wow, actually seems all right. Maybe you should have
a giant missile with nukes on it?
Yeah.
Is that what you walked away with after watching that video?
I was looking and thinking that leather jacket suits him rather nicely. A guy who wears that kind of clothing can't be bad. And checks his watch with such feverish determination.
Why were they checking their watch?
I know. It's time to move the missile out of the garage. Come on, let's go.
And then I like the end where like he takes off his sunglasses and nods. He's like, it's time.
It's time. Let's do this. Let's nuke some motherfuckers.
So the sad thing about this is actually kind of a kerfuffle between North Korea and America, right? Mm-hmm. It really doesn't have anything to do with Japan, except for the fact that Japan is in the middle of the two countries.
Well, and they keep launching the missiles towards
That's what I'm
us.
saying. So they keep launching the missiles over Japan, right? Mm-hmm. And so like this is really, really scary for a lot of reasons because, I mean, a missile doesn't... If you launch a nuclear ICBM from North Korea to America, there's a chance that it might not hit its target.
Yeah.
So at any part during the flight, it could go.
Well, even if it's not got a warhead on it, it could still drop onto
or hit a plane
Japan
or something. Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of things that could go wrong with it.
A couple of years ago, they deployed Patriot missiles in Tokyo and Osaka because they kept fucking firing missiles towards us.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and again, it's just, I don't think there's anything specifically between North Korea and Japan. It's just like we're in the way.
Yeah.
Isn't that sad? It's like,
well, they don't really like Japan anyway, do they? So,
no.
What can you say?
Yeah. But anyway.
Well, the world's going to shit, man. As soon as China gets a chance as well, they're going straight into Taiwan as well, I bet you.
So there's a survey about this recently. The Taiwanese are now thinking that that Japan is more likely to come to their aid than the United States after watching what's happening in Ukraine.
That's not going to happen.
What do you think? Do you think if China like decides to walk into Taiwan, do you think the United States will go to, because they have a defense agreement? Yeah. Do you think that it's like wartime, or do you think that America will just be like, oh, you bad China?
Well, it looks like we're getting to a, do you remember Neville Chamberlain?
No. Look
up Neville Chamberlain. So when the Nazis were kind of gaining power in the late 1930s, Neville Chamberlain was the British Prime Minister, and he had a system of appeasement. So basically he met Hitler and tried to make everything, so
better.
They wouldn't go to war, basically. And he's looked on now as being like, a mistake in history because he, messed up. You can see the Nazi regime coming and stuff like that. But, looking back on it, he was actually trying to avoid the Second World War altogether, right? Yeah. Which is an honourable thing to do, I think. But, the reality is at some point, somebody's going to push too far and then, bad things are going to happen. So I just hope that Russia calms down and doesn't spill over into Poland or somewhere like that. And
so the two flashing points right now are Poland and Taiwan. Right, you've got anything that encroaches into Poland, it's like immediate hot war. And once you go hot, that's the thing, is the reason why we have had relative peace for the last 7 years is because of the invention of the nuclear weapon. Right? If you have the button to destroy the whole world, then no one pushes the button, supposedly, right?
Yeah, but until somebody does.
But then what happened is then we had 7 years of all these countries making new toys that they want to play with, right? And so you see these little conflicts like, Iraq, Afghanistan, things like that. But then now we're really getting close to like nuclear armed nations going to hot war with each other. It's like,
well, I think when it's in your backyard, people are more concerned with it, right? Because nobody was really that bothered about Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, the conflicts in Africa as well, because it just seems like another place, right? But as soon as you see it in Europe with a bunch of like similar looking people,
they kept saying that on the fucking news. They were walking around saying, "I can't believe this is happening to white people." Like, that's what they wanted to say. Right. No, I'm serious. Like, there's so many clips of this on Twitter. They're like people would come on and be like, I can't believe this is happening to blonde-haired, blue-eyed European nationals. I'm like, you're trying to say white people.
Right, yeah.
Without saying white people.
Yeah, well,
it's just racist, man.
Yeah, well, it's just familiarity with it. I mean, I don't think it's overt racism or anything.
Well, there's no otherism involved when you see somebody that looks like yourself and they're in like war-torn area.
Well, you're also kind of desensitized to it, aren't you? You're used to seeing like scenes of violence in the Middle East and things like that, and bombings and whatever. So you get desensitized to seeing that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any narrative of like racial bigotry or anything. Like
I just
that,
think it's
really.
funny that the way that they keep trying to word it in a non-racist way, but it just turns out so racist.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. So the 70 years of peace that we had, right? It's total peace, very uncommon. And all of a sudden now we're at this point where this like flashpoint, right? Where we got Ukraine, Poland area, Taiwan, and North Korea being crazy. Look at the video. You can make your own decisions, but it's just like from this point forward, we either figure out world peace and we go Star Trek, or we do what Star Trek says happens before Star Trek happens, which was World War III, where nuclear weapons were used in mass and lots of people died. So one of those two.
Why can't everybody just chill out, man? That's what I'm gonna. I should be in charge of this.
I should be in charge of this.
Chief, chill out, officer. I'd like you, calm down.
You've had too much coffee.
No more weapons for you. That's enough.
Let's call it a weapons ban for 10 years on you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to something else.
All right, Japan's slapping Russia on the wrist in a serious way by banning luxury car exports. Oh no. Whatever are we gonna do? It's
like the yachts thing. You know how they're like parking all the yachts around the world? They're like, you can't have your yacht anymore.
No yacht for you. So Russia banned shipments from Japan. A large part of that is actually cars, which makes up 627.8 billion yen, which is $5.2 billion in 2020. And they're going to stop luxury vehicles being shipped out to Russia at the moment. I don't know what kind of luxury cars Japan makes. I'm trying to work what that is.
Well, there's one that's called
Lexus,
right? Where it literally stands for luxury. What is it? Export US.
Yeah.
And so you know the story behind that, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And then the Japanese market went, I want those as well.
Yeah, so the Toyotas were just Toyotas in Japan, right? And then they rebranded them as the high-end ones as Lexus in America.
Right.
And then like the Japanese were like, why are all the Americans driving that cool car? And so they just like brought the name to Japan. Same cars.
But Lexus isn't really a luxury car, is it? It's kind of like a premium brand.
What's the difference between luxury and premium?
It's very difficult to explain.
Is this like the Pro in Apple products?
No, it's not just about labeling. What would you say? So premiums is like its performance is the key thing, right?
Okay.
It performs well.
Yeah.
It doesn't break down, all this kind of thing. A luxury vehicle is something beyond that. So, for example, Ferraris are quite well known to break down.
Yeah.
Because they're so highly tuned that they can actually break.
Yeah.
That kind of pushing beyond the boundaries of convenience and comfort to something that actually is slightly uncomfortable and slightly inconvenient shows that you're so successful that you can actually get away with having something that's not completely perfect. Is true kind of luxury, right? Even though it's very, very well made. It's like a peacock with the giant feathers on its back.
I like to call myself a peacock sometimes because it's actually the male.
Cock.
No, the male. The male is the beautiful one, and the female is like she's not. She's like brown.
She's just butt ugly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like as I'm getting older, I'm like doing more things. I'm like dyeing my hair and becoming more and more peacock.
But the peacock is saying, though, I'm such a successful bird, I can lug around all this shit.
And it doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. Well, so if you got like a Ferrari, you can say, I'm so successful, I don't need to put my luggage in the trunk.
I don't need to have a trunk.
I don't need to have somebody, like 2 kids sat behind me. I've just got my hot girl friend or whatever, or boyfriend. And
he just went super inclusive.
Yeah.
But I can understand what you mean, because like if you think about like a chandelier or like, fine glass or whatever, I mean, it's all really easily breakable stuff.
Yeah.
It's not durable or practical at all.
Yeah.
So I guess I can see what you're saying.
So it's the impracticality of it that makes it, and then the dream as well, right? The dream about it and how it will, enrich everything about your life and stuff like that. So Lexus is going for that, but it's not, because it's Japanese. It's like something that won't break, and it's a premium.
Yeah.
It's stuck at a premium level, right?
Yeah.
So.
But I don't know, like, would you want an actual luxury car?
Not a car, no. But a hotel, yes.
Every time I've ever watched like what is it, Top Gear, or what is it called now, Grand Tour, and they have like their what they call reasonable cars, which for them reasonable is just a different level, and then they have like their luxury cars. I'm always just like, I don't want that. That's not for me. Take video of it. That's fine in a cool way, but I don't want that.
You see, I might rent one and drive it around for a day. If I was so inclined. I've never been inclined to do that.
But it would just make you nervous to have it, right?
Yeah, I don't want to bump it into something. It's like driving a house, right?
And it has so much power that it's like, even if you just take a turn wrong, you can burn out and destroy the car.
Yeah. That's the thing. You can't use the power of the car.
which is so stupid.
But that's why it's like a peacock thing. It's like a luxury item.
I guess if you took it on the Autobahn, you could. Is that true that there's no speed limit on the Autobahn? Is that actually true?
So, yeah. It's parts of it. I don't think it's the whole thing.
So in that case, maybe it makes sense. But even then, I wouldn't want to actually go 400 miles an hour in a fucking car with no airbags.
True. I mean, my dad bought a Golf GTI in the 1980s. I remember this very, very well. And he drove to Germany just so he could go on the Autobahn.
Oh, from England.
Yeah.
So he took the train that you put your car on.
Yeah.
What is it called? The tube? The tunnel?
Channel Tunnel. Maybe it wasn't done then. Maybe it might have been a ferry.
Oh, okay. Because I remember like YouTubing that and watch. There's like some guy who just like dash mounted a camera and has like the entire journey.
Right.
Which most of it is just the interior of a train car.
Yeah.
Like with no windows. But anyway, I watched it while eating breakfast one day because I was like, it was on the news and I was just like, how the fuck do you get a car from England to France through that tunnel?
Yeah.
And it's actually quite interesting.
No, it's cool. I've been on it a few times.
You have to switch the side of the road as well.
Yeah.
Because for whatever reason, you guys are on the wrong side.
No.
Yeah.
The rest of the world is on the wrong side.
Yeah, okay.
Apart from Japan.
Yeah, you guys in Japan. Let me go to one really quick. Okay, so because this is kind of serious, so we want to get this one out of the way. So Japan marks 27th anniversary of the sarin gas attacks in Tokyo. So if you guys don't know anything about this, I'll give you a quick summary. So 27 years ago, there was a cult and they acquired or created sarin gas, and then they released them on I think it's 5 trains in the Tokyo Underground in the rush hour in the morning. If you've ever been in Tokyo in rush hour, there's millions of people on all the trains. Anyway, so what happened was hundreds were injured and I think 14 people died. The people who were responsible for it were caught and hanged. Isn't that a weird word? Hanged. It's not hung, it's hanged.
Yeah.
Like if you hang up a hanger, the past tense of it is hung, but if you hang somebody with a rope, the past tense is hanged.
Yes.
So weird. Anyway, so they were hanged, and so, it's like it seems to be like, it's like I don't want to say it's Japan's 9/11, but it was like their big terror thing, right?
Yeah.
And so like anyway, so this article goes on to talk about how there's growing concern because of recent attacks on Japanese trains that Japanese trains are still a very vulnerable place where attacks can happen.
Yeah, well, they didn't have cameras until recently, right?
Which is so weird.
Yeah, you'd expect them to have them, but
Like, but I don't know. Do you feel safe when you don't like the Tokyo subway and trains and stuff?
I don't mind it. It's convenient. I don't like it in rush hour. I try and avoid traveling at rush hour and stuff like that because it's just so crammed. It's just so many people.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near as bad as like New York or Paris. Paris stinks, man. The subway system there.
Is it the people stink or the
both?
Yeah, I had a friend that
Sorry, all of France.
I've never been to France again, so disclaimer, but a lot of my friends that have gone there, Japanese people, they come back and they're like, France smells like cigarettes and perfume.
Yeah.
Was that true?
Well, that's a good combination, I suppose.
It's a good combination.
I went into this bakery in Paris, once, and like opened the door, and it was literally fucking full of wasps, the whole place.
Like the bug wasps. This isn't like
like flown in through the door, and they were all over the pastries and shit like that. And me and the wife just look at each other like, what the fuck is this? And the guy behind the counter is actually going as if to serve us. And I'm like, I'm not buying this. It's got wasps all over it.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah.
This wasn't like a...
I'm not taking loads of acid and going shopping to a boulangerie in France. This is exactly what I saw. So I just thought, oh, fuck Paris.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why I was just reminded of this, but I saw a tweet. I think I sent it to you. I saw a tweet yesterday of a British person who posted a couple of pictures of the prince and the princess from England, and it's like, these are a couple of crackers.
Yeah.
Which, what do you think that means, Josh? If you saw somebody post 2 pictures of like the prince and the princess, and it's like these are some super crackers or something like that, what would you think?
They are white people.
Yeah, like a bad word against white people.
That's
right?
what it means to you.
That's what it means in American English. What does it mean in English?
Cracker, it's cracking. It's good.
It means good, right?
Yeah.
Did not know that, right?
Or it means kind of hot as well.
Hot isn't like attractive girl?
Yeah.
Really?
She's cracking.
Okay, cracking I understand, but what cracker specifically means, like, because, sailing crackers are white.
Right.
And plain and don't have any, they're just kind of boring.
Yeah.
So that's like cracker.
Right.
It's like a square white guy is like a cracker.
These are a couple of crackers. I might say that. Christmas cracker.
That's a different kind of cracker. That's like the pull kind. But yeah, anyway. So yeah, isn't that funny, Josh? You didn't know that, right? I learned stuff about your country all the time. You guys are so weird.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do one more really quick that you and I need to talk about, and then I
Okay.
actually have to maybe dip out, and Josh is going to take over.
Sorry. This has never happened before.
It has never happened before. It has yet to happen, but it will happen. So let's go to my last story that I want to. So Kishida is talking about an economic stimulus package to help with the economy after the pandemic and with the rising inflation.
Nice.
What I wanted to talk about this, that's fine, whatever. They're going to spend money on whatever they want. But I want to specifically talk to you, Alex, about the wastefulness of the Japanese government on projects. I mean, like, how many things have you seen personally that you're like, why are you spending money on this?
Oh, loads. Do you want a specific
Yeah, like an
figure?
example.
I can't give you a specific example. That would be.
I'll give you an example, and then you won't take any flack for it. So there's a building here where we live. It's called Kemin Koryu Center, and it is literally like from Star Wars. It's a giant, fucking huge, monolithic, glass and concrete building, and it was built, I don't know, 20 years ago, and it is sitting there, fucking empty.
Yeah,
nothing happens in it. It just, they built it. They spent millions, maybe $1 billion, who knows, millions of dollars on it. They don't manage it. They just built it to spend money, and it's just fucking empty.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, there is a passport office in there. The Japanese people go get their passport there, which is like maybe like 5 meters by 5 meters in this giant building.
Yeah. And then there's a hall that you can't book.
Yeah, there's 3 halls, okay? And what happens is companies whenever they open in the beginning of the year, call them up and book them the entire year.
Yeah.
They just, because it's like $1 to book them for a day. So companies with a lot of money just book them for the entire year in case they want them.
So nobody can use it, right? Yeah. Welcome to Japan.
And so in Alex's specific arena, there's a bunch of like stimulus based. Oh, I'll give you one. There's one in Kagoshima City where they were paying people we did one to do live broadcast to promote the area. And it was like, the idea was like they want to promote the area plus get people familiar with doing live broadcasts during the pandemic when people couldn't travel.
Yeah.
There were a couple of those. I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars in stimulus here, and there are a couple of those that like maybe 4 people watched.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why are you guys paying for this? Why don't you hire professionals who know what they're doing?
Yeah.
Or an influencer or something like that. But they're just giving like regular people money to walk around their fucking Facebook open.
Hello, random. Have a camera. You
Yeah.
know? It's not interesting, is it, to watch 2 random people talk about stuff?
It was...
We've got a nice background. That's what makes it work.
Yeah, it's animated, right?
Yeah.
It's cool.
But no, that was a waste of money, man, to be honest with you. There's a lot of things like that. It's just like, we've got this, budget to do something. We don't quite know what to do. Let's try this. And then there's no
Literally, it's
no
just
improvement.
like, it's like, let's try. And that's it.
Yeah, and then there's no feedback or anything. It just finishes there.
Complete garbage.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, I'm going to dip out now. I got to go. But you and Josh take over.
Hello.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
What happened?
Mitch had a date.
With who?
An old man.
An old man. Sounds exciting. I'll ask him what happened afterwards. So let's keep going with these stories. Let's see what I've got next. Japanese company offers service that converts your child's school bag into useful accessories. So it says, you may have heard of the leather boxy school bag that Japanese elementary school kids use. These are called randoseru in Japanese, and they're very expensive. Sometimes, I think my kids' ones are about 20 man. So I don't know what that is in dollars.
Can you explain what that is? Because I think a lot of maybe like, especially American viewers won't know.
It's like a Japanese kids' school backpack.
And
Yep.
what's it called?
Randoseru.
That's from German, right?
I think it's Dutch.
Dutch. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they're very thick. The leather quality is really good, actually. They are very well made and very tough. And they do last 6 years as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
They use the
easily.
same one all 6 years.
All 6 years, yeah. So you can kick the shit out of them, like set them on fire.
They're
whatever
very
you want.
wide.
They are very wide because they fit the whole textbook in, right?
Yeah. Like American school bags, at least the ones I use, we would use them for a year, and then by the end of the year, there'd be holes, so we just toss it and then
Right,
get
right.
a new one. But they only cost like $10.
Yeah. So, I mean, these are expensive, but I guess, if you can use it. I mean, you can actually get second-hand ones as well. So they would last up to 12 years, in some cases as well. So, some people do that. But this service is basically turning them into other items. So there's a company that started in 2010 as a small leatherworking business. And then from 2014 onwards, thought about changing a randoseru into some other item as well. And they've launched with the name Randoseru Remake. So, yeah. Apparently it's very popular. So first year in 2017, they did 800 bags and then 14,000 in 2021. So pretty good, really.
Well, I mean, you're a father of 2 kids, right? Do they still use Randoseru or?
Daiki doesn't because he's gone to high school. So they don't use them after junior elementary school. And my daughter stopped using Randoseru because it was quite heavy and it used to give her headaches. So we got a very light backpack instead. And the school allowed her to use it.
Okay, so that's something like you usually have to use a Randoseru.
Oh, you have to use it. Yeah, you have to buy one. So and now, they used to just be black and red, just 2 colors. But now there's all kinds of different colors as well.
Yeah, I saw them the other day.
Fancy designs, right?
What did you do with Daiki's Randoseru?
We've still got it somewhere. So it's just sat around. Maybe I'll wear it like one of those kind of nerds that lives in New York or whatever.
You should go to work one of these days saying,
Nah, rather not do that. It might look cool in the US to do that, but it doesn't look cool in Japan because it's like you're just wearing a kid's backpack. What's wrong with you? You're mental. So what they do now is like take these bags apart and then, turn them into different items. So for 7,800 yen, which is about 65 US, you can get 6 different items: a key case, a pass case, 3 barrettes, which I'm not quite sure what that is, an elliptical keychain, a cord holder, and a belt strap keychain as well. And you can also get wallets and larger accessories as well. So it's quite, interesting service. I'm personally not that interested in doing it myself, but, some people might want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to recycle, right? And
yeah.
like if you're not going to do anything with it, then might as well.
SDGs, like everybody's going on about.
Right.
All right. What have you got? Have you got any stories up there?
Okay. How often do you go to conveyor belt sushi restaurants?
Never.
Never?
Very rarely.
How about before Corona?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. Okay. Well, how about just normal sushi? Do you go to sushi restaurants?
Sometimes, yeah. And
how do you add wasabi to your sushi?
I put it in the soy sauce and kind of mix it in a bit. And then
yeah,
why?
So this article, it's basically talking about how there are 4 different ways that people add wasabi to their sushi at conveyor belt sushi restaurants, because I think nowadays chain restaurants, they don't add wasabi to the sushi because so many people ask for it without.
Right, okay.
So the 4 methods are, like you said, mixing it in with your soy sauce.
Okay.
And then dipping your sushi in, which I mean, that's how I do it too. I'm not sure.
I put like a little bit of wasabi on the side of the bowl and just take a tiny bit off and mix it in as I need it. So I don't mix it all, so it's like a kind of pasty, soupy type thing, right?
Yeah. The other method is putting a dollop of it on top of your fish.
Okay.
Third way is putting it on the rice underneath the fish, which I think is kind of too much work. Like you're taking the fish off. And the last one is don't add wasabi.
That's not a way of adding wasabi, is it? So who wrote this article?
Sora News 24.
Fired. Are we allowed to say that? So, yeah. How about you? What do you do with wasabi?
If it's sushi, I'll do what you said, like mix it in with the soy sauce. But if it's sashimi, I think the proper way to do it is you put the wasabi on the fish and then you eat it. You dip in the soy sauce and eat it like that. Yeah. You don't make a paste out of it, especially at a nice restaurant.
You'll find it a lot of nicer, like nigiri sushi places. They'll just put it on with a little brush for you, so there's no need to dip it in anything. You just take it and eat it as is most of the time. But, yeah.
I just had a weird flashback. There's like this weird Japanese video from like maybe 15, 20 years ago, I want to say, that I saw on the internet. It's like a how to go to a sushi restaurant, how to eat sushi video, but it's like a joke video.
Yeah, ramen's. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh, do you know it?
Yeah. What was it called now? Japan something or other. Like culture class or something like that, yeah.
But like at first it seems like all things that you're like, oh yeah, okay, I can see that. But then like by the end of it, it's like the wooden sushi tray is also used as a shoe. So the chef puts it on his feet and walks home with it.
Right, yeah. Get that, yeah. So it was the ramen's. It's like a comedy duo.
Oh, is that it?
One of them was supposed to do the Olympics, but he got cancelled because he made a joke about the Holocaust like 10 years previous or something. So, bit bad taste, but
Well, if I can find that video, I'll throw it into the...
Yeah, dude, it's a good one. It's a good video. They made a good series, actually, on several kind of Japanese phenomenon and stuff like that. So it would have been probably a bit funnier to have him at the Olympics, but I guess, he wasn't culturally aware with his jokes in the past. So. Okay, I've got another story here about Abe, the former Prime Minister of Japan. So it says, Japan court rules police removal of Abe hecklers from stump speech illegal. So a court in northern Japan on Friday ruled against the removal by police officers of hecklers from the site of a 2019 stump speech by then Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Sapporo. They ordered the Hokkaido government to pay a total of 880,000 yen, which is $7,200, to two citizens, saying the police action infringed the freedom of expression guaranteed under the Constitution. So, they've had to pay some compensation. According to the ruling, the two people involved had shouted, "Step down, Abe," and "No tax hike," when Abe was delivering a campaign speech around JR Sapporo Station on July 15th, 2019. And police officers forced the two people shouting to move out of the crowd, and then were followed by police afterwards. So basically they were removing two people who were shouting at Abe while he was making a speech, and that was illegal.
So in England, you can't talk poorly about the Queen, right?
No, you can.
You can? Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I heard something like you're not allowed to like say stuff like that.
No, you can say whatever you want, basically. Up until the 1970s, it was kind of taboo to do that. And then, like, punk came in, like Sex Pistols and stuff like that. And they used imagery of the Queen with a, safety pin through her nose and stuff like that. And then it gradually became more, accepted, I think. But even before that, they used to have these cartoons where they would mock, the royalty and things like that as well. So it's been, a fairly common part of British, politics for a long time. I mean, we've even killed monarchs before, right? They beheaded them and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about, is it the same with the Japanese emperor, for example? Can you heckle the emperor?
No way. No. Can't make a joke, really. Can't really make negative comments in the press or anything like that. There are a few people who criticized the present empress when she was a bit younger because she had some, mental health issues and she was going through a lot of problems and stuff like that. So there was a little bit of criticism of that, but, not a lot. And to be fair, I mean, I think she was doing her best in a tough situation anyway, So
I guess the free speech, it doesn't matter when it comes to the emperor's family then?
No, I think it's very difficult to criticize their position. But to be fair, though, they're, a lot less scandalous than the British royal family are.
Right.
And not really involved with politics anyway. I think scandalizing, and criticizing politicians is fine. I think everybody should be able to do that.
Right.
When they're making a speech at a rally, I don't know if it's appropriate to remove them or not to remove them or whatever. When someone's talking, you generally have to let them talk, right?
Right, yeah. I think it just how much they're heckling. If they're heckling to the point where other people can't listen, then they should probably be silenced or removed or something. But I don't know,
yeah, it's I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Where's the line?
Yeah. How do you make them shut up?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they got a valid point as well, but still, what can you say? All right, you got another story for us?
All right, I got Japan's new ramen vending machine cooks noodles in just 90 seconds, serves 4 different kinds.
Roman vending machine?
Ramen.
A ramen, sorry. I thought it was a Roman one. I was wondering what kind of food that would be. Pizza or something, I guess. All right.
I mean, Japan has some crazy vending machines. I think there's a lot of this image that Japan has vending machines for everything. And I think there probably is a vending machine for basically anything you can imagine. But in your day-to-day life, what kind of vending machines do you see?
Me? I just see drinks ones generally. I mean, there's one for crepes near the bus stop in Tenmonkan. And I've also seen a pizza one before. Beer, of course.
Yeah.
Cigarettes. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, I think that's more of an older thing, right?
I think they're getting phased out generally.
Right. But yeah, there are food vending machines. Have you ever bought food from a food vending machine?
I have, but I must have been incredibly drunk to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many convenience stores now that's why would you get it from a vending machine?
True, it doesn't make sense, does it? And there's one place in Amsterdam actually that used to sell korokke type things, the croquettes or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like, I've forgotten the name, bitterballen or something like that they're called. And you would go in and put money in and take out the product and just take it away. So that was like a vending machine store almost. And I think that was, I don't know if it was copied off Japan or what, but it seemed very Japanese. And there's something similar actually close to my house that sells eggs like that.
Eggs?
Yeah. So you go in and you put your money in and like a little cabinet opens up and you take 6 or 12 eggs or whatever. And there's nobody there. It's like Mujin Hanbai, they call it, like, you know, unattended selling or whatever. And there's one more that does garlic as well.
Why garlic?
I don't know. It's just weird. It's like a iridescent kind of UV light or something. You can see it from the street as you're driving up towards where I live in Yoshino on the left-hand side of the road. And for ages, I thought it was a massage parlor or something like that. So one day I stopped because I was so curious about it and went up and it was just garlic growing in the store, like under UV lights. It was so weird.
All just garlic. Nothing
just
else.
garlic. Just only garlic.
That's so weird.
So it was bizarre. So what about this ramen thing? How many flavors can we get?
So there are 4 different flavors of ramen. It says there's Sapporo spicy miso, Tokyo shoyu, Kyushu tonkotsu, and tori yuzu shio.
Right, okay.
So I think the cool thing about this is it only takes 90 seconds. I mean, I guess it's similar to just like one of those cup noodle things.
Right, it's just water going on top of it, right? Do you eat ramen much or what?
I'm not a big ramen guy. Like, it's one of those foods I never crave.
Right.
But if someone's like, oh, I want to eat ramen, then I'm like, okay, whatever, I eat it and I enjoy it. But I don't know. I don't eat it too often. I think the last time I had ramen wasn't even like real ramen. It was the tomato ramen.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Have you ever had that?
No, I haven't actually. I've seen it and it's popular because I've seen the queues outside, but
yeah, it's actually pretty good. Like, it kind of tastes like a mix between tomato pasta and ramen. And the soup is not as like tomatoey as I expected it would be. It's like I think it was a chicken base and you can get like cheese topping and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. Okay. I like the spicy kind of stuff, like tantan men, like really hot kind of spicy noodles and stuff. And occasionally, you know, if I'm really like drunk and just going out for a last thing, sometimes they do like shime, the final ramen after you go drinking or whatever.
Yeah, I do like it as like the shime, the what do you call it, the closer, the last course, the finisher,
and then go home. It's good for a bit of hydration as well because of the soup and salt.
Yeah, it's a lot of salt.
Okay, all right, let's go on for the next story. So it says the dollar hits 6-year high above 120 yen on possibility of more rate gap. So the dollar has climbed to 120 yen range on Tuesday in Tokyo for the first time since February 2016, after the US Federal Reserve hinted at further raising its key interest rate to tackle soaring inflation, while Tokyo stocks ended at the highest point in over a month. So the dollar fetched 120.47 to 48 yen, compared with 119.43 to 53 yen in New York at 5 p.m. Monday. So this is making Japan cheaper, is it? Hold on. So the dollar is getting stronger against the yen, yeah. And the yen is obviously getting weaker, which means good things for inbound tourism, I guess.
Is that because like Japan's economy is getting worse or America's economy is getting better in comparison, or?
I don't know, having just picked up this piece of paper right now.
Yeah, neither of us have read any of these articles.
Absolutely no research whatsoever. I think, it depends. When the world economy becomes unstable, people tend to invest in the yen because it's seen as a safe currency. So that forces the price up. But I think when the world economy is generally in a better situation, they don't tend to invest it so much. So I'm not sure what the kind of effect of this is, but I mean, at the end of the day, like the strength of the yen and how much purchasing power tourists have got does affect people's decisions to visit places. But I don't think it's a key factor in deciding whether people come to visit Japan anyway. Maybe it is for the price sensitive markets on Eastern Asia and stuff like that, but I don't think it's so much for the Western markets as well.
I mean, whenever the borders open and they're constantly eyeing the border, like when are we going to open the border? But whenever they do open, I mean, it'll be good for all you guys
to spend some more dollar in Japan if you can and get more for your money. But I think fuel costs are the problem here as well. So I think more expensive fuel costs are going to be reflected in more expensive plane tickets as well.
That's true. I did not think about that.
Yeah, the fuel's the main thing, right? Fuel's so important for any industry because it drives everything, delivery, whatever.
Right.
So that could be a problem going forwards. But we'll see. And I will also read the rest of the article later to find out what's going on. All right, over to you.
So my next article is Japanese gyaru turned mom is more concerned with making her son a gentleman than a scholar.
Okay.
So can you explain what a gyaru is?
A gyaru is like a Japanese girl who's kind of like abrasive and a bit loud and, wears slightly crazy fashion. Traditionally it used to be like the kind of rolled up socks and stuff like that and,
right.
Slightly mad hair and things like that. And there was like gang gyaru, is it? The black.
Oh yeah, it looks like blackface.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's really weird. So
Yeah.
they would darken the skin and stuff like that, bleach the hair blonde and things like that. But you don't see that anymore, really.
Yeah, I would say nowadays it is a lot of hair bleaching. Like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised how often I see blonde hair in Kagoshima.
Right.
Like just yesterday, I think it was yesterday was the university graduation day or whatever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I saw like a bunch of young people in suits and stuff, and like there's a group of like 20 guys that were all bleached blonde hair.
Right, really?
Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
That's their last dash at freedom before they have to dye it black again and go and get a job.
In a week.
Yeah, in a week's time. So
Yeah.
it's just like go crazy for a tiny little bit before you join the salaryman life.
So this ghetto turned mom has 3 rules for his son. She never told him to study or anything like that, but her main rules are basically about how to treat a lady.
Okay.
So let's see if you do these rules as well.
Okay. All right. Being a real gentleman.
Yes, true English gentleman.
Okay.
You can tell me if these are valid or not.
All right.
The first one is don't make a girl walk on the side of the sidewalk next to traffic. So if you're walking on the side of the road, do you take the side of the road that's closer to traffic, or do you not pay mind to that?
I don't know. Subconsciously, maybe, because I am such a gentleman.
Right.
I think it's probably right. Actually, this sounds kind of dumb, but if you think about it, if cars are going past and splashing up water and stuff like that, then you can protect your lady friend's clothing by going like this and jumping in front of it, right?
This is actually something that I actively do.
You do that?
Yeah.
I
don't know why. Like,
Really?
Like it's always been a thing. If I'm walking, not just with like a girlfriend, but if I'm walking with like a girl or a child, I'll always walk on the side that's closer to traffic because I feel like it's dangerous.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I'm so ingrained into me that I'm a gentleman. I do it without thinking.
Yeah,
probably.
I'm not quite there, so I still have to think about it.
Try a bit harder.
Okay. The next one
Okay,
is
next one.
when you go to a restaurant with a girl, let her sit in the sofa seat.
Oh, that's such bullshit. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, I do that too.
But I only do that because it's like a Japanese thing, right? I swear to God. I've never heard of it in any other country.
Well, I feel like it's a very Japanese thing that like they have one sofa seat and one
Non-sofa
chair
seat, right, yeah.
But for me, I'm always just like, take whichever one you want. Like,
What if the chair is like a super baller, amazing chair and the sofa has got like a stain on it? What do you do then?
that's why I always say like, take whichever one you want.
Yeah, that's the best option, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're being a modern gentleman, like not saying, I am the man, so you will sit there.
Yeah.
Let's decide together.
What's the other thing? It's a very common thing in Japan that like, it's like the most important person sits in the seat that's farthest away from the door or something like that.
Yeah. So kamizai, yeah.
Is that comes from like the samurai days or something, right?
Yeah, apparently. So there's the kamizai in any room. So you find the kind of high seat or whatever in each room, and the most important person sits there. General rule of thumb is it's the seat furthest away and on the opposite side from the door.
Right.
So then you can see who's coming in and out, and also if somebody came in and started chopping everybody up with a sword, you'd be the last one to get it.
Right.
And also generally closest to the tokonoma, the kind of alcove in the Japanese room as well.
Yeah, I only know that because that's the seat Mitch always takes when we go to a restaurant.
Does he?
Yeah, and I asked him like, why do you always sit like so far away from the door? He's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's the most important seat. So.
Power playing everybody, right?
Yeah,
Who's he going with on these things?
old men.
So next time I go, he sits with older men and he sits in the...
Probably not with other people, but when he's
Right.
going with staff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was like years ago too.
Yeah, I think, well, subconsciously people notice things like that. In the elevator as well, right? The back left or right, I can't remember. I think it's the right is the most senior position.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to be closest to the door so I can get out.
Yeah, just leave, right?
Yeah.
The other reason you're close to the door is so you can take the orders
Oh, yeah, that's true.
and also pour the drinks.
Yeah, that is a thing in Japan, right? Always I always found that kind of weird. I guess just because in America, when you order drinks and stuff like that, they already come prepared.
Right, yeah.
But
yeah,
in Japan, a lot of times when you order drinks, especially at like bars and stuff like that, they'll bring you like the bottle or something and then like cups and ice. And they're like, make your drinks.
Do it.
then
I don't like that culture, man. I just prefer to do it on my own.
Yeah.
Because I know how I like it, right? I don't
Right.
want somebody else making it and fucking it up. So, yeah. And also, why make them do it? I'd rather people just enjoyed themselves instead of worrying about, filling each other's glasses up and stuff like that. So I do a bit of the Japanese stuff at first, just for the first drink, and then I just give up on it completely.
Yeah. Like the way I do it is usually like, if I'm pouring myself a drink, like a beer or something, and I notice like your cup is empty or low, I'll just top you off, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to be like the whole night watching your glass, like, he took a sip, okay, I'll pour a little bit more.
Well, nobody gets annoyed about it these days anyway. It's very unusual for people to say anything.
Yeah.
And if they want to drink, they'll generally just get it and pour it themselves anyway. So, yeah, I don't think there's too much need to think about that in detail.
Anyways, the last rule.
Last gentleman rule is...
Yeah, for all you gentlemen out there, if you're on a date with your girlfriend and it's ending late, walk her home to make sure she gets there safe.
Is that it?
Yeah, just walk your lady friend home.
And can you give her a kiss when you've finished or not? Was there anything about that?
It says nothing about kissing.
And how do you get permission to do that as well? You have to make it a bit more modern, right? Update it.
How is it in Japan? Like, do Japanese girls kiss on like the first date, or is there like a certain number or stuff like that?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's a long time ago.
How about
you know more than I do, surely. More recent.
Yeah, it was not a first date thing though.
Yeah.
But I think I'm also a little bit of a wimp with that stuff. So it was
you just sort of go straight in there and give it a try, and but also be careful.
Right. Ask for consent before.
Before
surprising her.
Pull out a waiver and get her to sign it.
So how are you with you and your kids? Are you really strict about their studies and stuff like that, or are you more like free, like let them do whatever they want, or?
I'm less strict about the studying, but mainly because I didn't come up in the Japanese school system. So to me, it's not as close as it is to, for example, my wife, when she went through it. So she's got expectations about their studying that I don't have.
Right.
I would, like them to learn a slightly more international curriculum and stuff like that. So I do, push them to do stuff outside of school. Like, for example, just learning, how to use a computer properly, or maybe literature, reading certain books and things like that. But I don't really push the Japanese side of education because I think a lot of it's bollocks, to be honest with you. There's a lot of rote repetition and a lot of maths and a lot of kokugo as well, which is not bad. I think that's good to learn the Japanese language well. But there's an awful lot of maths that, isn't necessarily super useful. And they've also got this thing where they want to make your weakest subject better. This is always the thing, to average everything out.
There's no specialization. It's all like round everything out.
Yeah, so it's like if you're terrible at maths, just make you do loads and loads of maths until you get average at maths. And then they might ignore the fact that you're incredibly good at, literature or social studies.
Right.
And instead of pushing those skills, you just end up doing the weakest part over and over again and want to give up studying. So I've seen this so many times, even when I was teaching people, I saw this too. I think it's a great shame. You've got to, use people's strengths as well. And then try and round off those, weaker points as well. But, don't put everything onto that because they'll just give up. Apart from that, manners I am very, very strict on. Always have been with the kids. They've got to put the shoes straight when they come in the door. They've got to fold up their clothes. They've got to make the bed in the morning as soon as they get up.
And is that a Japanese thing or an English thing?
It's neither. It's just, I think it's good manners to do. And you've got to get your routine down. If you don't make your bed in the morning, the rest of your day is going to fucking suck. Because, you've given up on the easiest task of the day.
That's true.
Straight from the morning. And even if your day does turn out awful, you can go back and you've got a nicely made bed to sleep in.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
Yeah.
What about like extracurricular activities? Because I mean, I'm a kids English teacher, and a lot of my kids, like my program alone is a optionally daily class where they can come from Monday to Friday for 100 minutes a day.
Okay.
And a lot of the kids do come like 3 or 4 times. Some of the kids come like twice a week, but almost every single kid does something else during the days that they don't come to the English class. So they're doing like sometimes more than 6 different activities a week. Like some kids will be like, oh, okay, I have swimming before English, and then I have English, and then afterward I have Juku or cram school. Like, are you strict about those kind of things? Or?
Not really. I think it's better to do 2 or 3 things well, or one thing even. Just do that better and put more effort into it.
Right.
Than just trying to do everything. And I think, cross-training and stuff like that's important. But, yeah, it's weird because, like, bukatsu in Japanese schools, like, the what do you call it, the activities, the clubs that kids join, it's just one thing. So they'll join the baseball club and only do baseball.
Right.
Like, every day for 3 years.
Right.
When the kids are a little bit smaller, they might do tennis or piano or whatever, several things. But when they get into junior high school, it's generally just one thing. And that's a real shame, I think, because you can burn out really easily practicing so much. And also you don't develop cross skills from different disciplines as well. So I try not to make my kids do things every day. And it's good to be bored as well. Because if you're bored, you use your imagination and think of something to do. Or look at TikTok all day. So I have to limit that on my phone. Yeah.
Oh, on your phone, not your kids' phones.
No, I've got control of their phones as well through this.
I see.
So I just limit them all. Yeah. How about you? Do you think, what will you do when you have children eventually?
Well, I want them to do something. I've always been like a sports guy. Like I liked playing sports, and I jumped between a bunch of different sports until I found something that I liked. So I'm kind of thinking like when I have kids, I want them to try a bunch of different things, try whatever they want to try. If they want to quit, then they'll have to like finish the season or whatever, the semester. And then after that, if they really want to quit, they can quit and do something else. But like I don't care what they do as long as they're doing something, I guess.
Yeah. Well, as long as they try, right? And see it to the end as much as possible. Because you don't want to teach them when the going gets tough, just give up. That's terrible.
Right. If you've read Grit, have you read Grit by, I forget her name. Her last name is Ducksworth. That's all I remember.
Ducksworth.
Yeah. But there's a book called Grit that's basically just saying like, the more you endure, the stronger you get, and then the stronger you get, the more you can endure. Right. Kind of thing. So, but she said in her family, they weren't allowed to quit things that they said that they wanted to sign up for until like 2 years later or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah. From Mrs. Ducksworth. I'll have a look at that. Sounds like something out of DuckTales. I just thought of Scrooge McDuck and his nephews. I've forgotten the names. Huey, Dewey, and Louie. That was it. Don't know why I've remembered that. It's weird. Okay, right. I've got a story here. 10,000 foreign children in Japan may be absent from school. Maybe. That's worrying, isn't it?
Why is it a maybe?
So it says around 7% of all foreign children in Japan of elementary to junior high school age, or 10,046 children, may not be attending school, government data showed on Friday. But the number of such absentee school children as of May 2021 was down by almost half, or by 9,425 people, since the last survey by the Education Ministry conducted in 2019. So elementary and junior high school education is not compulsory for foreigners, unlike their Japanese peers, but they can receive public education for free if they wish. That's weird. It's not compulsory. I didn't know that.
Are these kids that are like living in Japan full time?
I think so, yeah. With foreign parents, maybe. Or, children that don't have Japanese nationality.
That's strange that they would make it like not compulsory.
Yeah, I wonder why.
So why is it like they may be not coming?
Let me have a look through here. It doesn't say. The ministry says it will study whether children are being excluded from normal classrooms because of a lack of Japanese language ability. To help foreign children, it has decided to introduce a system to recognize special Japanese instruction classes in high schools as a formal unit starting from April 2023. So it looks like basically it's a cultural issue and language issue. So they're not able to, fit into the Japanese school environment or participate in lessons properly. And there's no support network to help them do so, which kind of sucks really, right?
I can kind of understand that a little bit. I don't remember how much time I spent, but I spent either a week or a month or something going to Yamashita Elementary School.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
When I was my parents, or my dad is from Kagoshima, right?
Yeah.
So I would come to Kagoshima every summer. And American summer vacations are like 3 months long.
Right.
So I think I came to Japan for over a month once.
Okay.
And like I had nothing to do every day, so my dad asked them if I could join. I don't remember how long I was there for. All I remember was like it was hard because like I had no idea, like I couldn't speak any Japanese really, just like hello and stuff like that, right? And it was hard, and like there's a lot of like, I mean, they don't mean it in a negative way, I think, but there is a lot of like otherism where they like, no, I'm not Japanese. So they're all just like looking at me or talking about me and stuff like that. And like I had no idea what they were saying. But the one thing I do remember is I got really surprised because the bell rang and then everybody stood up and stuff like that. We were like second grade or something like that. Everyone stood up and started taking off their clothes.
Right. Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is everybody getting naked?
Yeah.
And people, like, they all just got naked, boys and girls.
Changing
naked.
for PE, right?
They were changing for swimming class.
Swimming class.
We had
right.
swimming class.
And they were all in the classroom doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't do that anymore. Thank God.
Yeah. But I was just like coming from America where like in Hawaii, we didn't have swimming class until junior high school.
Right.
And even like then, whenever we had to change for like PE or something like that, we would do it in like the restrooms and stuff
of course.
like that.
Yeah.
So I was just like, why is everybody naked?
Yeah.
And like there'd be boys that just like come over talking to me with their thing hanging out. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
So I think that culture's changing a little bit recently. So there are some problems, obviously, with Japanese education and things like we talked about last week or the week before about rules in school as well.
Right. No ponytails.
No ponytails and underwear color and things like that. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But I suppose, it's a different culture as well. So yeah, there are those things to overcome. But that would be weird if you're from a different culture and you had to suddenly put up with that with no Japanese background whatsoever.
So,
yeah, that'd be tough.
On top of with COVID and all that, I'm sure it's been a hard time for any students that are living in Japan, whether or not they speak Japanese.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I wonder how the numbers compare to like Japanese students. Like I know in America there have been many attempts to switch to like online classes, like full online classes and stuff like that. But I don't think it's so much a thing in Japan, is it?
They do it now, but I don't know if it's done very well, really. So there is an option to do an online class too, because there are a lot of kids in Japan who are like futoko, so they can't go to school. These are even Japanese kids. And actually the teachers often don't chase up on them. So they just don't come to school and then they eventually pass. So there's no actual requirement to be at school to graduate, right?
Is that true?
Yeah.
Do they? I guess they don't really. They don't hold students back, but they also don't like let them skip grades in Japan, right?
Yeah, you can't skip grades ahead, and you also have to do the same year on year. So it's a very restrictive system, and I don't think it's particularly modern. But my kids have been through it twice, so that's my opinion, having seen it and taught in it as well. So I've got the opinion from the teaching side and the parent side as well.
I mean, I also went to cooking school in Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
And it's considered like the most prestigious cooking school and all that. But while I was there, I really felt like it must have been a lot harder to get into the school than it is to graduate. Because at that time, I could speak some Japanese, but I couldn't read very well. So literally every test, I would be like looking at the questions and the answers and being like, okay, I recognize one kanji in this answer. That's the answer.
Right. Okay.
And there's no way I passed every class, but I graduated.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, wow, it must be a lot harder to get in than it is to graduate, I think.
Yeah. Generally, it's hard. It's easier to get out of the system once you've got into it, isn't it? So yeah. Okay. What's your last story, man?
Did you ever watch Pokemon?
Yes, I think in about 1997.
How old were you at that time?
I don't know. I can't remember. 19, 20.
1920. So do you remember what do you call it? Before and after the commercial break, they would have the silhouettes of the Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon?
Maybe.
And then they come back and like, it's Pikachu.
Right. Okay.
Well, we're going to play Who's That Pokemon with these well-loved Pokemon plushie photos that leave Japanese Twitter in both hysterics and horror.
Okay.
So, I mean, how many Pokemon do you even know?
Like Pikachu.
Okay, well, if you guess that for all three of these pictures,
Right.
you'll get one of them right.
Okay.
So let me look it up on my phone. Okay. I'll also look this up or put this into the video podcast for any YouTube viewers. But who's
Okay.
that Pokemon?
Jesus Christ. What is that?
It's Pikachu.
Is it?
Yeah.
My God, who made that? It's horrible.
So all of these are Twitter posts, I think, of different Pokemon that like the plushies have been used and loved for so long, like 20, 30 years maybe.
Okay. Right.
To the point where it's just like, oh God, why would you keep something like that?
I see. Okay. They're the, what's it called? The red spots on its cheeks, right?
Right.
So that's Pikachu, right?
That's Pikachu.
Okay.
I'll show you what this one looks like after, because I don't think you'll know this one.
I don't know. Jizz penguin. I don't know.
You're close. You're close.
I don't know.
It doesn't
No
shoot
idea.
jizz. It shoots water. It's Piplup.
It's what?
Piplup, the water type penguin Pokemon. This is
Okay.
how
What's it supposed to look like?
it's supposed to look like.
Mine doesn't
this.
look much better. No. Okay. Right. So cute penguin thing.
Yeah, it's blue, but the Twitter one, like, why would you keep something this long? This is so disgusting.
Well, you know, like when you live with someone, right? And you don't notice that they've got a bit fatter. And then somebody else sees them, they go, whoa, you put loads of weight on, man, or something like that. It's probably like that. If you're with it every day, you don't notice the difference.
I was thinking about that recently because it was actually last year. Now it's 2 years ago. Was my high school 10-year reunion, but it was postponed because COVID.
Right.
But there's a Facebook group for it.
Oh, right. Okay.
And like, I look at myself every day. I feel like I still look young. I looked at everyone in the group and I'm like, oh my God, everybody's old. And then I started thinking like, do they think that about me? Like,
Yeah.
am I old? Probably. Anyways, here's the last one.
Okay,
Can't even
let's have a
tell
look.
what this one is.
I have no idea. Just looks like a mess.
So I think this is Bulbasaur. You know,
I don't even know what that is.
It's from the first generation, so maybe if you saw it, you would remember it. Bulbasaur is a leaf type dinosaur looking.
Oh, makes sense. Okay.
So I think those red parts are his eyes.
I see.
In the
It's like finding like a burnt out car with a you know, dead child in it or something like that. That's the kind of imagery I'm getting here from this. This is dark, man. Why did you go so dark on the end?
well, this is what Mitch left for us. But do you have any childhood toys that you've kept for too long?
Hell no. No, I'm not good at keeping things. I just get rid of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like that too.
The only thing I do keep are cables from PC parts. I've got cables, like, you know, because I think, oh, you might need it one day.
Right. Even though
Like-
you're never gonna need it.
Sometimes you do, though. Like, I needed a USB-C cable the other day, and I found one. I was like, I'm glad I kept this. You know, but I've thrown away all the old ones now.
What about your kids? Do you have like old toys and stuff that they've kept from their childhood?
Not really, no. I mean, they were never that much into toys because the kind of, I mean, my daughter, yeah, a little bit, but, and obviously my son when he was really little. But because they're the kind of digital age, I think they grew out of them very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember them going to like toy stores in England. We took them back to England, went to a toy store, and they just kind of looked around and didn't really want anything, which is really weird to me. Because it's like when I was a kid, I would be like wanting to get the latest toy or whatever.
Right.
And it's like now they don't really seem to have, I don't know if it's just because I'm older and I don't know the brands and stuff. But when I was a kid, you'd get all the kind of iconic Star Wars toys or like, you know, Marvel superheroes were really big at one point. So you could get all the toys from that.
Right.
But yeah, they don't really seem to have the same kind of interest in it as I did when I was a kid. But, that's like my dad saying, I used to play with a stick and a hoop. Like, oh, why don't you think a stick and a hoop's interesting or whatever?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think time just moves on.
Yeah. What was like a big toy when you were a kid then?
When I was a kid, He-Man was big.
Oh, He-Man.
He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers was big. What else? Star Wars toys, obviously. Marvel. So they had like shields and stuff like that with kind of hologram things inside. And then a bit later on, I think I was probably growing out of it about that time, but Visionaries was another one that was popular back then.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that was good. They had like holograms on it. There was a lot of holograms. Right, the hologram was like the dopest shit you could get back then. You were just like, whoa.
That was the iPhone of your generation.
Yeah, we were just like, check it out, move it around like that. Oh, I showed my kid like the other day a Game Boy from back in the day, and he was just laughing at it. It's like, what the fuck is this crap?
That was my first like personal gaming system. Was the Game Boy? I think Game Boy Color maybe.
Right. Okay. So you're a bit later than me then. I had an Atari Lynx as well.
Yeah, I had older systems like an NES and stuff like that, but I think my first personal game system was the Game Boy Color and then the Nintendo 64.
Right, okay, yeah. I never really had consoles so much. I had a Sega Saturn at one point, I remember that, which got nicked, and then I bought another one with the insurance money that came back from it. But then it died and nobody made any more games for it, so...
Yeah.
Retro gaming, eh? Mitch is into his N64, isn't he? Loves it. That ridiculous controller that you have to hold in the middle.
He has a ton of games, like super retro games at his house, but I don't think he's touched like 90% of them. He
doesn't actually play them, right? He just likes the idea of them.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a cool thing to have, though.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're about done for today. That wraps up the show. So we've had lots of interesting news stories. We had Mitch leave for the first time during an actual live podcast, which has never happened before.
Yeah, actually, I think this is maybe the first time he's ever not been
involved in Small Talk Japan.
Yeah, like from the halfway point.
Whoa, this is like a record. Remember this episode. So if you like what you've seen today and you're not a subscriber already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Give us a comment, give us a shout out, tell us what you think of our opinions on the news and stuff like that. And we will see you next time. Cheers and goodbye.
Bye.